Some fun time for one more thing. Great. All right, tomorrow night the Great Cut Bell Show, 10 p.m. What a lineup! You got
How can I be live on YouTube if I don't have a camera lit?
tomorrow night, 10 p.m. I'm gonna get that demo, Jesse. Now,
Does it matter of this?
animals are great. Animals are great. What boys are great.
What's that?
It's gonna be over. All right, Dana's not here, so I decided we had to have her dog on anyway. So I took the take Jasper for a ride in the back seat of my Maserati. Jasper enjoying.
All right, well, let's turn it on.
Into his gums, helps with the tooth decay. Keeps his
I do not see a camera lit.
and that is my
I don't see a record button.
Pretty good. Jesse, you're up. Gowdy on the GG show. Yeah, I have to tune in for that one. Oh, thank you so much. All right, I'm kidding. I won't watch it at all. On behalf of my sister Eliza and I, we would like to wish our parents a happy 50th wedding anniversary. Tomorrow is 50 years for Anne and Stephen. There they are. I don't know if that's got to be from the 80s because my dad's suit was unbelievably big right there, but not like it's really good. Mom and Dad, we love you. We were going to celebrate this year. They were going to take us to Jamaica, but the China virus cut that trip short. So we will be in Jamaica in spirit. Yama. Also, Water's World, 8 o'clock, right before Trey is on the GG show. New video of Wisconsin violence. Dan Bongino and I break that down. Don't miss it. All right. Big crowd in Washington today marching to commemorate the 57th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. One of the speakers was Martin Luther King III. Watch. There's a need upon the neck of democracy, and our nation can only live so long.
We'll just start with that. Okay, well, that'll turn on the camera.
Also speaking was the sister of Jacob Blake, the Kenosha, Wisconsin man who was shot by police.
Well, alrighty then. So, to start off with, we are looking at that display with me there.
From speakers all calling for voting in November, taking part in the census and police reform.
I'm thinking I should change that.
Okay,
Why can I not record?
The best, most famous, greatest Arizona basketball coaches has left us. Lou Olson, Hall of Fame basketball coach, has died at the age of 85. He was a huge reason why I went to the University of Arizona, camped out.
There we go. That'll give us that.
He's credited with building Arizona into a national
there.
basketball powerhouse. He guided the
That's fine.
Wildcats to four Final Four appearances. I watched all of
We
them.
have this over here once we get it all set up and going. We are moving in the right direction. So that means, for example, I could be opening this up. You folks can see it.
Wonderful coach, a good man.
Okay, and if I make it full
So
screen,
we got Joe Bridgemore from Minnesota who wanted to be the Guinness Book of World Records.
and these were what it was we were looking at.
Biggest mohawk in the world. It's 40.5 inches long. It takes an hour.
They, oh, there it is. I was about to say they may have removed it. But there you go. That's where I'm going to live.
Until next time.
If anybody cares. So I'm just tinkering around with this for the moment. Look at that. There it is again. Okay. Got that back on that screen. So now what else can we do with this? I guess that means that, can I edit the scene they're saying? Let's edit the scene. New PC, no problem. Just enable potato PC. Enabling the potato PC mode. Alright, I'll enable it. That's it saved to do that? Okay. Add a background. Widgets. Label bar. Main source. What's the main source look like? Don't know what this is.
Mother Nature. Can man beat the elements, or will the wild win? This is is man versus nature. To make it into man versus nature, you go onto the call of the wild with the cry of science. You've got to discover the wild side.
Webcam.
So now that we know what it takes to get
I guess I can move that around, is what they're saying.
holy moly,
Okay.
we're gonna sink our claws into number 20.
Social item.
Loki is domestic and likes nothing more than cuddling up in confined spaces.
I didn't see what lit up here. Go back to the webcam. Social item up here.
This viral clip are demonstrating that big kitty cats like to curl up in cardboard too.
I love this. Next we need to try a giant ball of yarn.
How do you watch internet videos about cats? You click on some links. Yes, you have to. We tracked the big cats to Tampa, Florida, where their keeper, Acton Tassler, told us why she's giving boxes to lions.
We decided to do big cats in boxes because we figured if domestic cats like it, that maybe the big cats would like it. And it definitely works if you've seen the video.
Ah, but why do cats like to curl up in cardboard? Big cats are the center of all their rescue, and to keep them occupied, their handlers have given them enrichment. Enrichment is a term that scientists use for anything interesting put into an animal's area to keep that animal alert and engaged.
Add a background to your
There's
scene.
two different sets of cats. The ones that are happy
And I
to
don't
get
want
into
a
the box,
background in
and the
my
ones that are
scene.
less happy to get into the box. And that breaks down into what they're like in the natural world. You see some of the smaller cats, like the lynx, the cougar, the bobcat.
Don't know what that
boxes,
does.
treating them like shelters, which makes sense.
What's
because
this?
in the natural environment,
Zoom out,
they're not
zoom
the top
in.
predator. So they
How
often
do I
need
get
a
out?
place to hide from other predators or to rear their young.
This is quite unlike the behavior of the lion.
I'm
and
going
the
to assume
tiger,
by
who
closing
are
this.
apex predators.
Lose
And
my
they
changes.
finish up the boxes. They don't want to get into
So there we are, we're back to
but what
this.
they do is they rip them apart.
This isn't too bad.
This experiment seemed to go down really well. I mean, even though
This
they
isn't
all
too bad. Why
reacted
can I
differently
not
towards the boxes,
record?
They all seem to have a pretty good time.
Do I need to have Scotty Waddy Doo-Doo money in your pocket to record?
Because once they come here, we become their forever home.
Sounds perfect. We are keeping you up, buddy. Wow. In Colorado, Tim Roman and his camping companions have created a fireside festival of love. This is crazy because, like, it looks like there's stars coming at you.
Hey, this is like the start of a raid in the bush.
But then the blue also looks like there's clouds. Pretty interesting. It looks like these guys have gone camping, set up for dinner, and then Dad has opened a portal to another universe.
I hope you just step through, but don't obviously because you will burn your face.
So how has Tim turned his campfire techno?
They've set up camp with 2 lasers and some special filters.
Unlike a regular light bulb, it sends the energy in all different directions. Laser light is focused only in one direction, and normally we experience laser light only at its end when it hits the surface.
But the campfire is letting off smoke, which is thousands upon thousands of tiny solid objects in the smoke particles. And it's this smoke that reflects the laser light into your eyes, and you can see not just where the light is landing, but the way it's traveling.
Because laser light is immensely focused, it can be very dangerous. If it hits your retina, it can cause blindness. So be careful with lasers.
It's nature plus physics equals yourself.
Thanks, Simon. You can stop now. Please. Returning from a day's fishing in Mexico's Cabo San Lucas, Tony Peshko has an unexpected visit. I mean, that must have been the Usain Bolt, a sailor. And this speedy sea mammal has another trick up his flipper. Oh, hell yeah!
He gets his nice big fat fish dinner and he's out. Unbelievable.
I think that's what they call a swim through restaurant. How does the fish-loving heavyweight outrun a motorboat? This is a California sea lion. It can weigh up to 850 pounds or 390 kilograms. They look pretty ungainly when they're waddling on land, but
they're actually fantastic swimmers.
They have sleek bodies that don't have much drag, and of course, all of that blubber that they have makes them mutually buoyant.
So when they're just under the surface of the water, they can move very fast.
But on the surface, where there's all sorts of turbulence and disturbances, we shouldn't be able to do that. The only way he's able to do it here is by utilizing the boat's slipstream.
As the boat moves along, it's displacing a whole bunch of water, and then a whole bunch more water will try to rush back in and replace that. And this essentially is what the sea lion is taking advantage of.
Because the sea lion doesn't have to exert itself too much to ride along in the slipstream, it can use its remaining energy to just boing up onto the deck.
And they say there's no such thing as a free lunch.
In the battle of man versus nature, this is nature.
Camera's on.
Tony Zero.
Of course it's on. Okay, that's not a problem.
Where Roy Chapman and Richard Stack are going swimming. What is this thing? The off-road enthusiasts have taken a rugged
That's fine.
four-wheel drive and given it water wheels.
That's fine.
These guys have an interesting approach to make an all-terrain vehicle. Stripped down, chained up.
This
What am I
really
missing?
getting back to nature. I mean, they've taken out anything that could get between them and the nature.
So why doesn't the truck stall as soon as it hits the water?
Richard and Roy made some really important modifications to the vehicle to make it work under water. First of all, air intake. Engines need air, but there's no air under the water. They've added a snorkel to the engine so that air can come from above the surface of the water into the engine.
The exhaust fumes actually come out with high enough pressure to stop the water coming back the other way.
They've also redirected some of the high-pressure exhaust from the engine to keep other components under the hood from getting water into them. So, the gearbox and the power steering also have to stay dry. They're now part of the exhaust system. That high-pressure gas is keeping the water from entering those critical components.
This means keeping that exhaust flowing is all important. In order to do this, they need to keep the revs up. In Man versus Nature, Richard and Roy have put the man in nature. About that deep.
So far on Man vs. Nature, we box big cats and been dazzled by lasers. But coming up, we'll take a breathtaking dive.
Strange mysteries.
It's really the last place you would expect to see something like this.
Trapped in the coolest places. Secrets in the ice. Thursday at 10. On Science Inside Out.
And this is just getting weirder and weirder.
Another bundle in the books.
Gotta hand it to you, Jamie. The knowledge of Victorian architecture really paid off this time.
Nah, just got lucky. So are the Thompsons. That faulty wire could cost them a lot more than the mudroom.
Thankfully, they built their motorcycle with their own auto. They're protected 24/7.
What do you say? No more game of backgammon?
You're right.
Well, the camera's not a problem.
Forge of Empires. Develop your own city from the Stone Age to the future. Available in the App Store and at FOE.tv. Forge of Empires. Play now.
Cheese it, snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it.
Snap. So good we ran out of cheese.
This summer, we've all got miles to make up. Miles to the job site, to the campsite, and anything else we set our sights on. Miles to take us back to the people we've missed, and to those who can make this summer mean more than ever before. Make the most out of those miles during the band summer credits event.
Cheesy stuff, crazy bread. I must be dreaming.
Oh no, it's real. Order stuffed Parisian bread plus any pizza online and get a free 2-liter. Use promo code FREE2L. Then have it delivered.
Pizza. It's here.
Okay, you're gonna keep that there. Oh, you just bounce back in. All right, no problem.
The one you've been waiting for. You were built for it. And so will you. WGU, the online university where ambition never rests.
It's a familiar story. Allergies ruining your sleep and next day too. Taking Zyzol at night relieves allergies while you sleep, so you wake refreshed. Plus, it works faster than Claritin, and on first dose provides the same relief as Zyrtec at nearly half the size. Be wise all. Take Zyzol at night.
Doing what we love can be painful. Introducing Aspartame with essential oil. Now, calming lavender oil is combined with fast-acting lidocaine for lasting relief. New Aspartame with essential oil.
I just quit my job to go around my dream.
Successful communities have shared value systems.
Winter's gonna come, whether we're ready or not. Welcome back to our countdown of man versus nature. We're tackling the oceans next as we plunge into number 16. Now we're floating off the coast of Egypt with British artist Sue Austin.
Okay, well, you run your hardware test so you know what the hell I've got.
Because we're dealing with a contraption that you don't normally expect to see underwater.
Don't worry, Tom. Sue has designed and built the world's first self-propelled underwater wheelchair. Fantastic, just beautiful to watch.
I was just transported into another dimension.
It's great to see that coral reefs have wheelchair access. To find out more, we've washed up at the less exotic port of Plymouth, England, to ask Sue why she created this majestic marine machine.
It started as a visual artwork that was about placing a wheelchair in the most unexpected environment I could think about. I started talking to engineers and I was so convinced it would work. Do you know, it really put me off.
Sue proved her doubters wrong. But why is making an underwater wheelchair so hard? The key to scuba diving is being neutrally buoyant. To do that, you need to balance the force of gravity pulling you down and the force of buoyancy pushing you up. In Sue's case, she has a wheelchair which is pulling her down. To balance that out, she has a buoyancy control device. By filling these vessels with air, she gets more buoyant and goes up. Releasing it causes her to go down. Now this serves a double purpose. This air also enables her to breathe underwater. How does Sue move forward through the water? Sue needs to move through three-dimensional space. To do this, she has an electric propulsion system to drive her forward. But this system is mounted at the bottom of the wheelchair. It means it wants to pull the bottom of the wheelchair forward, while the top has the drag of the water acting on it. Combined, this will cause the wheelchair to tilt backwards.
To stop this spin, she's attached two large footplates like fins over the front of the wheelchair, and this stops the front from rising.
Not only
What?
do these plates keep her stable in the water, they also make it possible for her to navigate. So, with her feet, she can press down on the left pedal and move the left plate, turning her left. Likewise with the right.
There's another fin in the back of the chair, and she's got 5 different positions to choose from. At the highest position, she can actually do a backwards loop to loop. At the lowest position, she'll do a forwards roll. There is literally nothing I've done that compares with loop the looping.
Toggle my what?
As the chair comes down and round, there's this incredible force. So it's very visceral. It did feel amazing.
Now that she's tamed the oceans, Sue's next project is a flying wheelchair. In Canada, Tyler Lane 1 is testing the fat content of his corn chips. Oh my god! What is in that? It starts to move, and you think it's going to stop, and it just keeps going and going. Holy moly! That's crazy. I am now afraid of whatever's in these chips. I'm still going to eat them. And it's a perfect circle. Look at that. How it's spreading the pollen. I'm not eating those things.
Who needs a lab when you've got a link?
But before Tyler chucks his chips, what's causing this runaway reaction? It looks like the tortilla chip is so greasy.
Yeah, well, who knows?
It's own oil
Probably pretty
stain.
boring
It's
if anybody
badly
that's out
oiled,
there.
pushing back everything else on the
And I
surface.
wouldn't know if you
But
are.
actually, that's not
Don't know
what's
exactly how to
happening.
do this
It's all
instruction
down
here.
to one of
What?
the things that makes water special.
Toggle
which is
your
that it's not
overlay
weak
and select
on
either
surface tension.
stream or
Water has
record.
surface tension because the
Toggle
charge
my
inside the
overlay
water
like it's in what?
isn't evenly distributed. Some bits are a bit more positive, some bits are a bit negative. On the surface, it's attracted a lot more to the water next to and below it than it is the air above, and this gives the kind of skin-like effect that is surface tension.
When the pollen falls into the pond, it starts to distort.
It's in use by another application. Yes, so we'll do you later.
The pollen floats
Good
on
enough
top.
for now.
Group of pollen together
How do I toggle
actually
this?
distorts the surface
I go back to
less
here.
than lots of pollen distributed out over a wide area.
Because this means there's less pollen in contact with the surface of the water and more pollen in contact with other bits of pollen.
But for this to start happening,
That would be
something's
where
gotta
this would be
kick it off,
done.
and that's where the chip comes in. The chip provides a bit of energy that ripples out across the pond that causes the pollen to start pumping, and then you get a runaway clumping effect that races across the surface.
And the good news for Tyler is that there's nothing wrong with his chips.
Go with your eat down.
We're in the African country of Gabon, where photographer Xavier Hubert Rier wants the locals to take a long, hard look at themselves.
My, who's that handsome fellow?
The gorilla is so hard, it doesn't mind kicking its own head.
Some of these animals are really big.
So, mirror, mirror on the wall, which is the faintest creature of them all?
Essentially, what they're trying to experiment with here is whether or not animals have self-recognition. When we look in the mirror, we see ourselves, and we know it's ourselves. This is a great question for animal biologists, though, is when and if do animals recognize that that's themselves as opposed to another animal?
That's a mark of self-awareness.
How do I toggle this?
To look at the experience
How do I do as they say?
ourselves in the same position. We see many different reactions.
In
from
settings?
The leopard, for example, is a very solitary, territorial animal. So you can see it displaying signs of aggression
I'll
towards
tell you what then.